the public and compliance with the Open Meetings Act. Printed documents at tonight's meeting are available to the public upon request, with the exception of any information protected by student or employee privacy rights. Board meeting information is posted on our website at www.ferndaleschools.org. If you do not have internet access and need information, please contact board offices at 248-586-8652 by Thursday of the week prior to the meeting, and district staff will do their best to work with you. Item 1.1, roll call, Ms. Shepherd.
Seguric,
Here.
Eltark,
Here.
Homer,
Here.
Hart, here, Turner,
Here.
President Dookie.
Here.
Thank you.
Thank you. Item 1.2, approval of the agenda. After review of the agenda, are there any changes that anyone would like to make? Seeing none, the agenda is approved as is. Item 2, presentation of building, Ferndale Lower Elementary, Principal B.
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Thank you, families, for bringing them on this icy night. Appreciate it. Hey, so I am Diana Keefe, the principal. Glad to be here tonight. What makes us unique? That's our school family from the beginning of the year. Really excited to be here to talk about some of the things from our strategic plan, give you some updates, and then hear from our special guest tonight. Just a nice collage about love and all the different things going on at Lower. Measuring success. So this is about academic programming that we have. I'm not sure if I can see what I need to do here. Here we go. Okay, so you heard last month from Katie Jeffrey, the principal at Upper, and I think she shared then, 2 schools, 1 community. K-5, we do a lot of similar programs, changes a little bit with, birth to age 8, the brain is so different, and there's different things we need to do to support our young learners and build that foundation, and then she's able to take it from there. So I just really love that we have this strong partnership with K-5, even though we're in 2 buildings. And at the end of the presentation, I will share more about the excitement about being close to Fuel next year. So some things that I'm going to talk about, she mentioned last month as well, so we have some similar things. So the first thing on the agenda there is MTSS, or a multi-tier system of supports that we have, and that's about intervention and enrichment for our students. So our big rock is the same. It's about small group instruction, and we've had that goal for, this is our second year with that. We have the literacy coach to support that, small groups that we have for intervention, individualized programs we have. We have a couple more reading specialists than Upper does, and an extra reading corps member. So, but when you think about first grade especially, and all of the learning that goes on with the reading, it happens in every grade, but to me, first grade is the biggest gap. There's so much learning that needs to go on. So as having 175 first graders, we have a lot of work to support our students with. So we have a lot of extra support, and LADA's in our kindergarten to build that foundation. We're pleased to have our Back on Track grant, like all the schools have, and we've had 2 days of that so far. So today was our first day with kindergarten. And we'll do first grade in the spring with kindergarten. We have a robust student achievement team. We meet on Tuesdays, a whole body of professionals that meet together, and we look at those 3 tiers of support that we have for reading, math, and behavior. So, student placement based on their interests and their needs and their readiness. You heard before about Acadience. I think you may even hear about that tonight. Acadience really has elevated our digging deeper on the skills for students and what they need, what holes we need to fill, and how to fill them. So progress monitoring is going on. If you walk in Lower at any time, you'll see a teacher in the hallway grabbing and capturing a picture of a student in a few minutes that they have, because the cadence is real quick, but it provides some really good information. So lots of focus this week is Kindness Week, that you're going to hear from our friends about that. So just having different activities and supports to bring to life different activities and things that we do. And we've been increasing our after-school offerings. We now have YMCA after school for sports sport. The library is doing a kindergarten, first grade, and second grade after-school coding club. And the first one is for second grade in about 10 days. So that's great, and they're working with our media specialists for that. We also have Lego Club, which is not new, but very, very popular. And Play Labs, again, for our third semester with them, which is exciting. Improving upon diverse and culturally responsive school practices. We do practice restorative practices. We are getting additional training on that. I think our SEL modules are second to none. People are still reaching out to us, visiting, wanting to know about our social emotional learning that we have. Always having a growth mindset, the equity lens and accountability lens that we have. We have a strong professional learning calendar that Ms. Jeffrey and I work on over the summer together to have this cohesion across and to know where we're going, so that we're not just making it up as we go, but to have a clear focus on what we're doing. I'm really excited this year that we added our para-pros into that training, because before they would leave on early release and they didn't have that opportunity for that training. Now we have that, so excited for that. Making thinking visible and always focusing on the whole child. Empowerment, so that positive school culture, the community that we have. Our one word this year is bee, and it's also formed into an actual bumblebee. We had at the bottom picture there is the author of Buzzy. She came and spoke to our staff just to get us excited about bees. You know, the cool thing about bees is that they're really not supposed to be able to fly. The way their bodies are and their wings, they do it anyways. So it's about a belief in ourselves. So B is our word this year. And each teacher, as we're sunsetting the old lower, getting ready to sunrise the new lower, I wanted staff to, what did they need? What did they need for the year to do that and to have some closure and to be the best version of themselves this year? So we have teachers that they want to be empowered, they want to be an advocate, they want to be kinder, they want to be a better listener. So staff, in our staff lounge, we have the honeycomb, and it's all of the B words that the staff has. For the students, it's about Buzzy, it's about the B and having that belief. And for us, we say be kind all the time. Again, social emotional curriculum, morning meetings, mindfulness. I do a daily announcement every morning that comes up on whenever the teachers can do that in their day, but it helps us to connect and unite as a school family every day. SOAR visuals, language, we added our SOAR tickets this year. How many have gotten a SOAR ticket? So we are excited about that. Mental health supports. We're excited this week. We added Honor Health into our mix, and we're getting started with that. And she's able to do on-school therapy. Not there yet. We're still working on some of the paperwork, but she attended an assembly today. She's walking around. She's meeting kids. She's hands-on. She has a school shirt already. She's excited about Kindness Week and PJ Day on Friday, right? So they're dreaming about kindness. Positive phone calls home or happy notes, emails, seesaw, reminds, all of those to keep that home school positive connection. Weekly newsletter, which parents, I'm sorry, I just sent it out tonight. It was a busy day. I completely forgot about it. So you did get today's though. Communities and schools, we have a new person, Danielle Jones, excited to have her on board. She's really helping with truancy. We really have to have students in school to make these powerful changes and difference. Extending our opportunities and partnerships. STEMCO is new for us, not for Fuel, but our media specialist is working with them to bring more hands-on coding into our school. And then there's some other listed partnerships that we have. Foster grandmas, when I was in the classroom 25 years ago, I had a foster grandma. So I believe they've been in Ferndale for about 34 years. Does anyone know how many years? 34 years of foster grandmas? About right? Okay. Yeah. So we love our grandmas. So again, those high expectations goes back to that professional learning calendar. Right now we're doing a refresh with conscious discipline, which is kind of our foundation. And the district has brought back a student work protocol that all of our instructional lead teachers are doing. So just being able to hone in on the students' work, bringing that student work and having 6, 7, 8 individuals look at it and support that. So. Environment. So top one is the same, recruit and retain staff, always trying to do that. A great mentoring program, literacy support. I know that the new behavior specialist that we've hired, she has a coaching background, so she's going to be able to support students in the classroom with some of that classroom management if they need. And Wednesday, there is a district on board that I've never seen happen in the middle of the year. So all the new staff that we've hired the past 2 months, and there's several of them, we have that partnership, and they'll be able to have some district onboarding with that, which is great. So thank you for that. We are one-to-one. We have iPads in kindergarten and first grade, and we have Chromebooks in second grade. So working on all of that technology to support that. I already mentioned the library coding, multisensory environments, that is us in a nutshell, right? Whatever the students need, that flexible seating, they can choose. We have safe places in all areas of our school. We use Donors Choose for some of that innovation, along with our school budget as well. Spotlight on occupational therapy, tips, recommendations, and they came to professional learning, to an after-school program, and led our team in that. They have that expertise, so we need to draw on the expertise of the individuals in our school. And we're glad to have a motor room and a sensory path, but we're looking forward to new and improved next year. So looking forward, there's our team when we visited last spring, and that is a picture from 3 years ago, and there's no roof on it, but we're looking forward to some great things. So we're excited about the future. New learning space equals opportunities for the whole child, and that's what we are. I've said whole child again and again. We need to play, we need to move, we need to sing, we need to dance, we need to learn, and all of that goes together. So our extended learning areas at the new building, amazing. The grade levels are going to be able to come into an area that they can learn in, and no one will be stepping over them because they won't be in the hallway. So it's going to be a lot of collaboration. Outdoor possibilities, nature, garden, play. Have you seen the size of that, right? We're on 3.5 acres right now. We're moving to 11 acres. Incredible. It's incredible. Big area of land. So 11 acres is more than 3, right? So it's a lot more space. Good question, though. Dedicated library, cafeteria, gym, and meeting rooms. Great. And then the location to Fuel, right now we're able to work on that, and we can get a bus for the buddies at Fuel to come to us, and we can go, or they sometimes walk. We don't walk, it's too far for us. But next year we can walk right down the block. It'll be great. Right down the block. Improved academic outcomes. Again, we've talked about this. I think you'll see another slide presentation about literacy. The letters training that our staff are in, we have 14 that are in it or have been in it or have graduated from it, a total of 14 so far. And then our upcoming literacy change is going to just support our small group focus. Science of reading has really given us some instructional shifts that are really supportive. I have not seen the Acadian, we've been doing benchmark tests right now. I've not seen that data, but I know it's going to be improved. We're getting better and better at honing that craft of literacy. Literacy coach, professional learning. Next year, definitely looking at math as a school improvement goal as a big rock. And what do we know about good teaching that's going to support that math? We will have a STEAM lab, which is brand new. We don't have anything really close to that right now, but buckets of Legos. So we will be drastically different next year. So I'm excited. I'm working on a partnership with someone that is hopefully going to put a Lego wall up for me, because that will be fun. So lots of cross-curricular and enrichment opportunities. And I put in here, a room that's going to promote hands-on and wonder. That's what we want. We want that curiosity. We want to be in it, right? To figure it out and to get their mind working. So, and then Media 2.0, all that it's meant to be. Right now it's on a cart, going from room to room. It's going to be different. Right? Family school connections, they're built small group areas. Right now, I have a lot, thank you families that come in, you play a game in the hallway, the cold hallway. It'll be different next year. There'll be spaces for you to go to and have a group to play a game and have a great time and get some of those skills in a different way. So, looking forward to next year. So, this is the Great Kindness Week, the Great Kindness Challenge, right? And we talk about kindness all the time. So I wanted to blend the two. They're going to sing a kindness song for you in just a moment. And but I wanted to talk a little bit about music first. So at our school, art, music, and gym and media are called essentials. They're not a circuit or a special, although they are special. But we think that we know that they're essential. So the essentials for music: activates the brain, enhances cognition, boosts memory, strengthens creativity, reduces stress, supports teamwork, increases coordination. We want all of that, right? And we're going to get a lot of that through music. And so music really supports all of our learning. Next. So, I'm going to have a little music debut. They can. Yeah, they could stand.
We're going to put you right in front of this. All easy.
I don't need any expression in your face.
Maybe I should introduce, this is Miss Crum, she teaches music, and Miss Duncanson also, but she's not here this evening.
This is our song. It's called the Kindness Song. And we have been working on this in the gym since we got back. All right, you guys ready? Kindness, kindness, oh, wherever you find this, you will see the world's a better place. Kindness, kindness.
with what? Our words, and kindness with our hands, our actions, right? Everything that we do needs to be kind, the words and the actions. Was there someone else that wanted to say something about kindness? Do we talk about kindness at school?
Yeah. A whole bunch
We do. Is there anything that you'd like to say about our school and kindness or about music?
I love music because it's all something to and it's my second favorite song.
What's your first favorite? Second. Someone else want to say something about it? About our school, family, or kindness? Super job. Why don't they sit here just for a minute, and then I'm almost done, and then.
Oh, they're totally good.
Yeah, they're okay. They're okay right there. So our students are fortunate to have music twice a week. They go for 40 minutes each time, so 80 minutes of music, and they're either with Miss Crum or they're with Miss Duncanson. And then we are very fortunate to have an extra special music class for our kindergarten students. We call it M3, Music, Movement, and Mindfulness. So Ms. Crum is able to support special ed students across the district, K-12, with M3, and then all of our kindergarten classes have that. And we do that because kindergarten is kindergarten, right? They're trying to come in, they're trying to learn who they are and how to do school, and so we want to set them up with a little bit extra just to give them that foundation to move on. A lot in M3 is about cooperation and friendship and eye contact and saying your name, so it's wonderful. So anything else you want to say about music? It's amazing. Okay. So a little bit about kindness on the next slide. So we do have a culture of kindness. Again, whole child, like we all need to be kind humans, right? If everyone in this entire world was kind, we'd have a wonderful, wonderful world, right? So it's all about the whole child. We join a lot of schools around the United States and beyond with the Great Kindness Challenge. We have a kindness checklist. Anyone do anything off their checklist yet? Yes? You did everything. I love it. Okay, so the kindness checklist is action-based and hands-on, and they work on it for a little more than a week. But that's just something, right? Because we are talking about kindness all the time and doing it all the time. Spirit Days this week are fun. We had an assembly today to come together with for kindness. Positive notes are on your locker. Was that cool to see today? I love it, definitely. So, but we do talk about kindness with our words and actions every day. So, so many ways to be kind. Anyone else have any other thing they wanted to say about kindness? And that's our theme. Kindness is cool this week. What did you want to say? Yes. Yes. Go point to your snowflake. Crawl under your table.
Come under. Come on.
So every student in our school made a snowflake. Oh, I thought you knew where it was. That's okay. That's okay. It's up there. And on Thursday, all of our students will have a snowflake necklace that they may write kind on it or something else. But again, it goes back to that first slide about us being unique. Snowflakes are all different, unique, and we're going to become the people that we need to be. It's okay, sweetheart. We'll find it.
Thank you.
So kindness is cool. Thank you. Yeah, it's not as big. Okay, one more slide, I think. So, happy School Board Appreciation Month. Thank you from the bottom of our hearts. So, we are adding a new book to our library, the Kindness book, in honor of all of the school board members. So, thank you. So, this is a new one for us. So, and in Media 2.0, oh, I think I lost one. They made a book for you today. So all about donuts. And I'll find the other one. Oh, here it is. And this is actually a book called Happy School Board Appreciation. It's really important. We have to teach them because they're not sure who you are or what you do. And I just always say you're the boss of me, and they can't figure that out. So, okay. Okay, and that's Ferndale Lower.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, everybody. Huh.
So I love this day of time.
Great job, everybody.
I'm assuming she could just have the skills. Just? I would just wait. Sample. Just wait right here. Like a glitter. I think it's gone.
Okay, yes, okay, I was like, oh, you're right. Bye, Gigi. I'm not the only one. No. Thank you.
That brings us to item 3, public comment. This is the time for public participation in the meeting. The Board of Education intends for the public to have many opportunities to address the board and administration of their school district. This includes email, phone calls, face-to-face meetings, community gatherings, public hearings, and other public meetings. We welcome individual and group input into the important issues that confront our schools. As noted at the top of the agenda, this is a meeting of the school board open to the public. We want to provide fair and impartial guidelines for participation, as required by the Open Meetings Act, to encourage transparency and equal treatment for everyone in attendance. We also recognize that an effective meeting facilitates better decisions to promote openness by allowing more people to stay for the full length of the meeting. To meet these goals, please note the following. We ask that you identify yourself and list contact information on a comment sheet to help administrators follow up with you on your comment. If you do not wish to do so in writing, please identify yourself at the podium. And if you need a response, please provide contact information with the administrator after the meeting. I will call on the people who have completed comment sheets first. Each person will have one opportunity to address the board for up to 3 minutes. Comments or questions should be directed to the board president. Vice President Fulmer will raise her hand when your time is within a few seconds of expiring. This period of public comments for both non-agenda items and items that are on the agenda. Public comments will end at the close of this part of the agenda. In the event that the number of people wishing to comment requires longer than 30 minutes, public comment will be temporarily postponed after 30 minutes, and time will be added to the end of the agenda for those who did not get a chance to speak. Complaints about staff should be made outside of board meetings and should follow the applicable board policy. Please note Please contact the superintendent's office if you have any questions regarding this item. The board cannot respond to complaints about employees in public. This is meant to promote fairness to the staff person and the complainant. The Ferndale Public Schools community acts with great civility toward one another. Please help us to maintain that tradition during public comments. I have 2 sheets. So the first one, Mr. Mill.
Hello, board. Happy School Board Appreciation Month. I definitely knew it was this month. And I'm grateful for the opportunity to speak to all of you. I'm Jacob Mell. It's my 8th year as a Spanish teacher at Ferndale High School, the only school I've ever taught at. I have 2 quick things I'd like to address here, and I'm worried about this first one falling under one of the things you said I shouldn't do. But it's just a point of concern I have involving the selection of Ray & Associates as our consulting firm to hire the next superintendent. 3 quick reasons on that. I think they have quite the lack of transparency and clarity on their use of stakeholder input. I acknowledge that they provide several surveys and meeting chances to gather input, but as I was part of the superintendent hiring process 2 years ago, it was hard to see where any of that input, both seeing my students fill out the surveys as well as putting my own input in, show up in the questions that were provided to us in the scripted interview process. So I'm concerned with where that stakeholder input goes and how it's utilized, and would appreciate some more clarity and transparency on that process. Also, I don't understand if I'm looking at the quality assurance. If we look at the performance of the candidate they hired last time, I'm not seeing where we're satisfied with that outcome. A year and 4 months is a very short term for a superintendent, especially with the, again, lack of transparent clarity on the end of that term. I don't understand why we would go back to the previous hiring process there. And one other part of this is I'm concerned again with the expenditure of resources, time, money, energy that goes into a hiring process of this length, when I feel we have a very qualified candidate sitting here with us today. So I'd like to acknowledge our interim superintendent and put my support with her, Ms. Hibler. Ms. Hibler is as a very qualified and important candidate that we're looking at here. I think Ferndale in the past, under different leadership, has focused a lot on cosmetic achievements that look and sound really good to people on the outside looking in. We've neglected the roots and the foundations that we've set, at least at the secondary level, for initiatives such as diversity, equity, inclusion, social emotional learning, and student achievement, and closing the gap that we have. And so I think Camille, with her time here and her experience, sees that and knows that. And that's an important part of helping Ferndale Public Schools become the best district that we can be. And so I want us to really acknowledge the fact that that on-site experience is something we're gonna have a hard time finding, especially, again, with a consulting firm. Another part of this, we're looking at this national pool of candidates, and then we come back with 5 local candidates in the interview process. I'm not seeing it where it feels like, for me, for someone who took the job graciously and with an aptitude that is impressive given the circumstances, why we're overlooking the chance to just smoothly transition into her leadership as the superintendent. So I want to push for that appointment and really encourage us to really look at what we have in-house right now to consider the time, energy, and again, resources saved there. And so the second thing I want to touch on is just some feedback for you as a board. This is my, again, 8th year here. I'm my 4th superintendent with the interim appointment, looking at possibly a 5th being hired in those 8 years. And at Ferndale High School in that time, I'm on my 4th principal, and I know UHS is on at least their 3rd, if not their 4th as well. And so we're looking at a district that's suffering from a lack of consistency, from a lack of leadership being in place and building consistent processes, which in turn makes it very difficult for teachers and most importantly, students. I want them to learn about a leader, to see them as part of the community, and I think, to me, the constant through that is the board is our leadership. So I want to encourage all of you to really reflect on your own processes and your roles here, and I want to invite you to take that time for reflection, think about how your impact is on the culture there at the secondary level in the district. And if I can, I want you to consider 2 characteristics, most importantly, one being transparency. Again, I was really disappointed October 19th, I think it was, hearing about Dr. Goodwin's resignation and how she would last until December 31st before we moved on. And then 8 days later, we have an interim superintendent. There's no goodbye letter. There's no further clarity on the part of the Board of Education there around that process of moving on from her as the superintendent. I think the community deserves more clarity and transparency. So I want us to look at how we can change these processes to allow for a little bit more transparency behind the decision-making. It's a great way to develop accountability for ourselves. Something I try and encourage my students. We do self-evaluations every couple of weeks to look at our participation in class and how we can improve. And the other thing is sustainability. This is something I really embrace as the advisor for student government. We don't know when any of us might need to leave for any reason. How do we put into place processes and standards where someone could come in and fill the role? And unfortunately, right now, we see a lot of new people coming in and out of this district. So if we're not going to be able to adjust to those outside means causing that, or not reflect on the inside means, we've got to start to implement sustainable processes so that these constant changes in leadership don't affect the students, because they are the ones suffering the most in this case. At least at the secondary level, I think we have great examples at the elementary levels to look for that consistent leadership that Principal Keefe and Principal Jeffrey have provided. So again, just inviting you to reflect on that and encouraging you to look at those two things, transparency and sustainability as a board, and how we can improve in those categories. So thank you for hearing me out. I appreciate all you do. I know I'm coming heavy with critiques right now, but trust me, it's from a place where I just want students to have, the best possible experience they can in the Ferndale Public School District. So thank you.
Thank you. The next sheet I have is for Mary Blair.
President Dookie, I have to admit, I started to take notes and forgot to use the timer for Mr. Mao. I'm gonna set the timer, sorry. I'm new in my role here.
That's,
All good.
did you set it? Okay. I just want to make sure. So I am Mary Blair. I am the mother of a current second grader who just sang for you and a future kindergartner. It's over there. And I actually do want to echo Jacob's concerns about the hiring the superintendent. I actually emailed 2 years ago to you, Sandra, about my concerns about the timeline and it being really tight. And my lens on that is also gathering enough feedback from the various school communities. There seems to be very limited time opportunities, especially for FEA members and FAES and the paraprofessionals to actually give their feedback. I mean, these are the employees who work with our kids every day. There should be multiple opportunities for them to be able to meet and participate, and having like one meeting for high school staff is really not sufficient. So I want to echo that concern. But I'm also here to talk about lower. And so I want to say I appreciate that Mrs. Keefe continues in her newsletters to share the positive progress that's been happening, especially in the realm of hiring, some additional necessary support. But unfortunately, we already had another loss of a staff member. They resigned this month for a position in another district. So again, because of transparency, it makes me wonder in terms of if exit surveys are happening and being given to educators as they resign, and to gather that information to help retain our talented staff. And if not, are there discussions to institute these moving forward? Also have discussions began with the FEA and FAES in regards to compensation and other topics covered in the CBA that lend itself to improving retention and recruitment. I'm also wondering about the status of other requests that have been made here at board meetings about by various school community groups, which include the request for a clear code of conduct for Ferndale elementary schools, both lower and upper, the request for open kind of town hall style meetings for families to come and be able to engage in discussion with district leadership, because obviously I know this is us just talking to you and you guys can't respond. The request for review of like special education programming, like our offerings, how we allocate resources, and then the request for some restorative practices. I know that we have restorative practice specialists at the middle school and high school, but we don't have anyone at the elementary schools. And kind of doing that work to try and heal the harm that's been caused over the past few school years to students and their families and the dedicated staff. And I understand the Board of Education does not directly deal with the day-to-day operations of the district. That's the job of administration. But as the governing body to whom the district superintendent reports, I hope these conversations are continuing to happen because the community, the whole school community, deserves to have their concerns met and addressed, and for that to be done with the transparency and consistency and that sense of urgency. Since these concerns were first brought back in October, and now we're here in January, well, the end of January. And that's all I have. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
I was like,
She just disappeared right there on the bench.
Okay. Is there anyone else here for public comment? Sure.
Hi, my name is Nikki Amy. I know some of you, but for those of you that don't know me, I have a child in 11th grade, is my oldest, and I have a son in 8th grade. And I also work at Lower. My kids have been in school since they were in kindergarten, so about 12 years now. And over the years, I've had occasion to reach out to the board and reach out to administrators, and I'm just here to say I appreciate you, the Board Appreciation Month. I don't have presents for you. I'm just just want to let you all know that your job is not easy, and well, I'm sure you know that. I don't need to let you know that, but it's not easy, and you certainly don't do it for the money or the fame or the glory. And I appreciate all of you, what you do. So, thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else who'd like to speak? Public comment? All right, public comment is now on. Item 4, consent agenda. 4.1, request to approve minutes of a special meeting for the whole Monday, December 4, 2023. Item 4.2, request to approve minutes of regular meeting Monday, December 18, 2023. Item 4.3, request to approve new hires, resignations, and transfers. Item 4.4, request to approve bills and accounts for December. Does anyone wish to remove an item from the consent agenda for question or discussion later? Seeing none, I'll entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
So moved.
Moved by Peter,
I'll second.
second by Jonathan. Roll call, Jennifer.
Siglaric.
Yes.
Altark.
yes.
Fulmer.
Yes.
Hart. Yes. Turner.
Yes.
President Dookie.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. With 6 yes votes, the motion passes and the consent agenda is approved. Item 5, action items. Please note that all action items being voted on tonight were discussed in depth at the committee of the whole meeting held on Monday, January 8th. We invite and encourage community members to attend our committee of the whole meetings, which are also open to the public. Item 5.1, request to approve the resolution for budget amendment number 1.
Good evening. As discussed in the committee of the whole, I'm here to talk, this is the budget amendment 1 for 23-24. So, let's see, and looking at the amended budget by function by revenue slide, I'd like to point out that the first column, which is actual 22-23, is prior year and is on the presentation for comparison purposes. If you look at column 2, original 23-24, and scroll down to total revenue, you'll see the original budget's revenue was 47 million. The amended 23-24 budget total revenue is roughly 49.8 million, which is an increase in revenue of almost 2.8 million. So if you flip to the next page and look at column 3, amended 23-24, And scroll down to total instruction expenses. There are 27.8 million for an increase of 1.6 million. Total support services expenses are 20.8 million for an increase of almost 1 million. And if you go to the next page, continuing on with expenditures, if you still look at the amended 23-24 column, when community services and other financing sources are added in, the amended budget's total expenditures are almost 50 million. 50 million. So this shows a deficit or a use of fund balance of $173,000. This is an increase of fund balance usage of $13,000 from the original budget. If you look down a little further on that sheet, you'll see fund balance, and we trued that up. In the original budget, the numbers in that column were based on estimates, but we ended up adding 1.7 million to the fund balance in 22-23, so the amended budget is so the new ending fund balance is about $10.1 million, which is approximately 20.2% of fund balance. So if you go to the next slide, these are the changes these are the primary changes in revenue, which the Little Eagles classroom, we added an additional classroom, so there's an increase in revenue. There's an increase in the Alice Jorgensen Social Studies Fund. She was a former teacher who passed and left Ferndale Schools $150,000 to be used in the social studies department at the Ferndale High School. In the state revenue section, I just want to point out that the amount of students we will paid on is called the blended rate, and it's 3,134 FTE, which is a decrease of 11 FTE from the original budget. But we ended up getting, in the original budget, we started out using a foundation allowance of $9,516 per FTE, but we ended up getting a foundation allowance of $9,608. So it was a total increase of $166,000. And then the state gave us more money for UAAL, which is unfunded actuarially accrued liability. Our at-risk funding increased, and we had ESSER 11T carryover that was in federal revenue of $125,000. We had we bought a special education bus, and then the next slide is these are changes from original budget expenditures. Please keep in mind that when revenues go up, our expenditures have to increase as well. So those are just the expenditures increasing. The next slide is First Amendment changes, primary changes on the First Amendment. So, athletic director, English teacher, science teacher, staff furniture for the Little Eagles classroom, Aptitude software, and then hop, skip, drive. And if you go to the next slide, that is the same slide as above, but by fund. So then if you go to the next slide, so for the second amendment, I just wanted to say that we will have some changes to the second amendment, which is we have to review the lower utilities, new lower utilities, and we have to review all the utilities for the building. There is an enrollment bonus since we did meet our enrollment target, and there will be a one-time retention bonus.
Remind me again, when is the Second Amendment?
June.
June, okay, thank you.
Any other changes? Okay, and then as I've reminded you all, for the 24-25 budget, we do have some grants that, well, their ending is of June 2024, and so in the 24-25 budget, this grant money will not be available.
Just, thank you, first off, for the committee of the whole answered all our questions over the email. Much appreciated. Just again, for the sake of making sure we understand the highlights and for the record, the highlight, we had additional revenue come in, but it was mostly grant fund that needs to be spent very specifically right away. But we're actually net spending more, and that money above budget that went to the general fund, as discussed in previous meetings, that's largely due to unfilled positions that we were expecting to fill, correct?
Yes.
Other top-level highlights I'm missing that are important for the board's understanding of the public's?
I would just
Yeah,
add really
please.
quickly, specifically for this slide, as far as the grants going away, that is, Felicia, Dawn, and I are definitely feeling better about where these funds will be redistributed to. I wish we had a very more concrete and specific where everything is going to go, but MDE doesn't have a very, like a timeline of when they reveal new grants, so there's a couple new grants and new allocations that came through. So while I hope to have that update today, we do not have that yet, but we will look forward to having this at the committee of the whole for February. So specifically, just want to reiterate, I did a little ramble there. These funds on this side specifically mentioned, we are in the process of essentially, for lack of better words, doing shell games to determine where they will go for next year. Okay.
That did just remind me, did we get an update on why our title grant money has
No, but I will
decreased?
get that for you.
Okay, appreciate that,
And
thank
you'll
you.
find that out right now.
Right.
Donna, I just want to say thank you for all of the detail. And we know that doing this budget with the lag, with the information from the state can be challenging. And the way that you laid it out, as Peter said, answered all of our questions, it's really helpful as we think about the next year's budget as well.
Thanks, Dawn.
I entertain a motion to approve item 9.1, request to approve the resolution for budget committee number 1. Moved by Jonathan,
Second.
seconded by Jackie. Any further discussion on the motion? Roll call, Michelle?
Elter,
Yes.
Fulmer,
Yes.
Hart,
Yes.
Turner,
Yes.
Figueroa,
Yes.
President Dookie.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. With six yes votes, the motion passes. Item 5.1, request to approve the resolution for budget amendment number 1 is approved. Item 5.2, request to approve RNA facilities management 1-year contract extension.
Good evening, honorable board and community. The district is seeking approval from the school board to extend the contract with RNA Facilities Management for the period of one term, July 1st, 2024 to June 30, 2025, in the amount not to exceed $1,435,122. The recommendation is being brought before you in an effort to stabilize the predictability of personnel finances respectively for this fiscal year, given we have some other financial impacts and unknowns. Currently, RNA provides the district with 26 custodians, 3 maintenance technicians, and 2 p.m. custodial supervisor, 1 a.m. and 1 p.m. custodial supervisor and an account manager. RNA proposed holding this year's contract dollar value over for 1 year. So it means that there won't be any escalators for this upcoming year. If we were to bid this service, we can almost guarantee that we will be paying a tremendous amount more. So this gives us some stability until we can see the outcomes of the next fiscal year.
Thank you.
I'll entertain a motion to approve item 5.2, request to approve RNA facilities management one-year contract extension.
I'll move.
Try that again.
I'll move.
Thank you.
I'll second.
Second by Sarah. Any discussion on the motion?
Again, highlighting what was talked at the committee, I appreciate not only the recap you gave on how this makes fiscal sense for the district, but I also appreciate all the attention you've been getting to the jobs getting done, as well as staff's perceptions of them too. So thank you for that one. Mm-hmm.
Just to kind of echo off that, I would like to shout out the fact that based off of this contract that we're going to be doing with them, it shows that with you being in your new position, still have good standing, good relationship building with our vendors, and I do appreciate that, and contractors.
Roll call, Ms. Shepherd?
Fulmer,
Yes.
Hart,
Yes.
Turner,
Yes.
Seglarik,
Yes.
Elter,
Yes.
President Dookie.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. With 6 yes votes, the motion passes. And item 5.2, request to approve RNA facilities management one-year contract extension is approved. Item 6, superintendent's update.
So this, I can't even express to you how excited I am for this, presentation. January is Board Appreciation Month, but, here in Ferndale schools, we appreciate you every month, every day, every hour, every minute. So we have a few tokens of appreciation that we would like to present to you all and to the community. And we'll start with our video. We have tissue too. Just saying.
Hard work.
Thank you. 2, 3. Thank you. Thank you for all the support at FECC. 1, 2, 3. Thank you. Thank you very much from room 3. Thank you. Thank you for all you do for us. Who? Thank you so much for all that you do for us, our community, our programs, our buildings, and for all of our amazing friends in the Ferndale district. We wave goodbye. Thank you, Mr. Jonathan Turner. We appreciate all you do for us here at the FECC. We really appreciated seeing you at our Halloween event. Yay! 3. All right, thank you for room 10. We appreciate everything that you do. Thank you. Thank you so much for a wonderful school board. We appreciate you from room 14 at FECC. Thank you for all you do. Thank you. Thank you, Jonathan Turner, for all you do for our staff. Room 12. Thank you so much. All right, friends, when we tell him. Thank you for all you do. Quiet. Thanks for all you do.
I just wanted to say thank you for all the time you put in and for all your energy for Ferndale Schools.
Thank you, Sandra, Judy, aka the press. Thank you for your leadership.
Thank you for all you do to support our staff, students, and Ferndale family.
Thank you for being a lifelong Eagle. Hashtag Ferndale grad.
Thank you for helping us lean into joy. Thank you for President you love. On behalf of CIA Lima Company, we say thank you.
Hello, Ferndale Public School Board of Education members, specifically Mrs. Hart. Because you are a University of Michigan graduate, we'd like to congratulate you on the Michigan football team winning the NCAA World Championship national competition.
The students of South would like to thank you and the board for the support you provide for us. Here at FMS, we believe in being the change that we want to see. Mrs. Hart, you exemplify that spirit and those characteristics by not only being a board member, but someone who has served as the secretary, treasurer, vice president, and board president. You have sacrificed your time to help guide Ferndale Public Schools into the diverse district that we are. We are grateful for your pride, dedication, effort, and effort. Mrs. Hart, you are the perfect example of what it is we want our school culture to be.
Mrs. Hart, you are truly the change that we want to see. Thank you for all that you do. Go Blue!
Thank you for all you do. Thank you. Hi guys, thank you for everything you do for the school board. You know I love you, so I don't know why she's in the room.
Thanks, Jen, for everything you do for Ferndale Public Schools.
Thanks for supporting us here at Tri-County Educational Center.
Thank you.
Thank you for all you do for our staff, students, and families.
Thank you for keeping staff and faculty that support us.
Thank you for showing support to our parents. Thank you for providing us opportunities to help us. Thank you, Mrs. Hart.
Just wanted to say thank you for all you've done for us. We're really excited about the blood drive and happy to have you on our team.
All right, Pete. My kids appreciate it. We certainly do. We're here at UHS. Applaud you right now. Everybody that's watching this, get up and stand up and thank Pete.
Mr. Sinclair, thanks for all you do for University High School and Ferndale Public Schools. We appreciate your dedication to our students and the Ferndale community.
Thank you, Mr. Sinclair, for everything you do for UHS and Ferndale schools, and I can't wait to see you at our blood drive.
Thanks, Peter, for all you do.
Thank you, Peter, for all your work on the Ferndale Board of Education.
Thank you, Peter.
Thank you, Peter. Thank you, Peter.
So we will be oh yes, let's So we will be sharing the video with you, and then each school, as you can see, they had a specific board member And they have, each building has prepared a gift for you that we will present to you.
Oh my goodness, I was gonna ask for the poster.
Mr. Turner.
It's a little big for the scrapbook, but.
No, that one is for the office.
Thank you.
So much.
It's some on the back too, on the back too.
Oh, wow, thank you.
Don't even worry about it.
He's like, I'll take care of it. I was gonna say, I know it was like Jonathan's like, yes, I get the poster. Thank you. Thank you.
I'm gonna have to fight Sarah for that one. Exactly where this is going. My desk. It looks like that's like a little glass sheet. Let's go right under my glass.
And look at they did.
So we appreciate you, board. We hope you enjoy your gifts.
Thank you.
Okay.
And also, we'll sort out everyone's size, but I'll just show you the distribution.
Oh, we got this. From the district and Ferndale schools.
All right.
Thank you, Board of Education.
Thank you.
These are big.
You guys have to do a museum walk. That is all.
All right. That brings us, thank you all very much. That brings us to item 7, informational items. 7.1, first read of professional staff policy changes.
Good evening, everybody. So I am here tonight to present a series of policy changes for first read. Board has previously seen these for Committee of the Whole earlier this month. However, tonight is our first official first read of these. Those were all included in the board packet, which you should have. Camille, could we switch over to the PowerPoint presentation?
Oh, sure. One second. Yep, this one's after pull it up. Oh, yes.
You don't have it?
Yes, I do. Good evening. I would like to introduce our new Human Resources Director. This is an introduction to some and, a reminder for others, since he is back in our district, and we'd like to welcome Tom Shelton to our team. This is his official first board meeting. He's been at Committee of the Whole. So welcome back, Tom. We're very happy to have you back.
I'm thrilled to be back. Thank you.
Okay, I'm sorry. I pulled up this one. It's in the report. You shared it with me?
I can.
It's in the board update, Kim?
It's in the board report.
This, right?
Yeah. It's just.
But he wants to.
I can talk through the slides.
The slides are at the end, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. Sorry. Don't look, you'll get busy.
It's kind of a long document, sorry.
Yeah, it's a lot.
That's how it's gonna be.
That's it. Thank you. Thank you, Camille. So just to highlight a couple things that you'll see both in the presentation and in the documents that were shared with the board. There were several changes that are necessary to be made because of some recent changes in legislation. in Lansing. Changes to the Public Employee Relations Act, the State School Aid Act, Revised School Code, and the Teachers Tenure Act. Those things together form what's being referred to as PA 115. And PA 115 is the piece of legislation that's scheduled to go into effect on mid-February. It's February 12th or February 15th. I don't remember the exact date. But the reason that we're looking at these policies now is to make sure that we have them in place before that PA 115 goes into effect. It's going to be really important for us to have many of these policies in place before PA 115 hits. And I'll talk a little bit more about what that means in a minute. There are 11 policies total that you will see. 6 of them are recommended for immediate change. There's another 5 that can wait until the end of the school year, end of the fiscal year, so July 1, those policies taking effect. A couple other things I wanted to point out based on some feedback we got after we looked at this the first time. Part of implementing these new policies is either editing or removing some of our existing policy. As you know, the board works with Neola for our current policies. The policies, these professional services policies are actually through True Law. And so there's going to be some revision to existing policies that needs to take place. Some of those policies are out and out removal. There are 1 or 2 of them where there are phrases or short sections that just need to be removed to get us in compliance with the new policies we're looking at. But those are all detailed in the packet that you received. Other quick notes, the superintendent evaluation is not impacted by the changes that we're looking at. And really, we're looking mostly at our certified staff, our professional services, our professional staff. If you look at the policies on the next page, I think over the next 2 pages actually, you'll see that most of the policies that we're looking at have to do with topics that are what currently is referred to as prohibited subjects. Currently in negotiations with our collective bargaining groups, things like layoff and recall, staff discipline, teacher placement, performance evaluation, those are all what are referred to as prohibited subjects, meaning that we do not negotiate those with our employee groups. Those are things that the board dictates largely through its policies, right? With the changes in legislation, those things are now going back into the negotiations realm. So if you look at the list of policies that we are changing, you'll see that they all kind of fit in that category of negotiable things that are going to come into play. And that's why if you look at the detail of those policies, in almost every single one of them, there's a statement that says if there's a conflict between a collective bargaining agreement and the board policy, the collective bargaining agreement trumps what's in board policy. So board policy is kind of our backup, but if something happens through our collective bargaining agreements that goes maybe a step beyond or contradicts something that's in these policies, the collective bargaining agreements that are eventually negotiated will dictate the terms of those areas. So recommended next steps would be to consider adoption of Troon's professional staff board policy package and repeal of the corresponding Neola policies at its next regular meeting. Again, some of those Neola policies are just minor edits. Most of them are out and out removals, and we'll be presenting this to the board for approval at a special meeting on February 5th, which is in your notes coming up. One last slide, I just wanted to mention that because our general counsel at Troon did develop these policies, they will support it with any challenges to it, similar to what we currently have with Neola. Neola right now does our policies, and they'll support us if there are challenges to those policies. Troon similarly will support us through these. And logistically, once these policies are adopted, these will be published on our website, just like our existing Neola policies are. We will have the option of either posting them separately, kind of side by side with the Neola policies, which honestly is kind of my recommendation. The other thing we could do is submit these policies to Neola for Neola to put together with their policies. I think it's neater to keep them separately, but we can discuss that internally going forward. But they will be published online like our current I am happy to answer any questions or concerns anybody has on this.
I just want to give the board real quick, just for your guys' records, the date was February 13th for the effective date.
Yeah, sorry I didn't have the exact date, but I knew it was approximately.
Sandra's looking at me because of the questions I sent you, Tom. So I'll just reference those.
Yes.
Does that make sense? And we don't have to get in the weeds about it, but one question I had is related to Neola Policy 3139. It's in your list of policies recommended for immediate edits, but later in the document, it mentions that the policy will be dismissed.
Correct.
Okay, so we're not editing it, we're dismissing it.
Correct.
Okay.
So when I say editing, what I mean is in some cases, editing a piece of it, as is the case in some of them. In 3139, that's a complete removal. Yes, that's correct.
Policy 4504, performance-based comp for admin and supervisors. There's language in there related to collective bargaining. Are any of those people represented by collective bargaining?
Yes, they are.
Okay.
Yes.
Policy 4403R, performance evaluations. There's a specific section on classroom observation. The previous policy, 3220, had a time frame for discussion between the school administrator and the teacher. It was 30 days. The recommended policy doesn't mention a time frame. Is that intentional?
So with that question that you had, Ms. Fulmer, I did forward that on to our legal counsel this afternoon, and I have not received a response yet. So when I do get a response to that, I will let you know.
Okay, that's great. And then you mentioned the superintendent's evaluation is not involved?
Correct. There's separate policies that specifically addresses the superintendent's evaluation.
Okay, so just clarity from the Oakland County School Board meeting where they did a legal review last week. They mentioned that the superintendent evaluation needed to include a mid-year progress report. Effective, it's one of those effective July 1st, 2024. So I wondered if we needed to update our policy 1240 related to superintendent evaluations.
Similar to your question about the time frame, the time lapse of the evaluation question.
Yep.
I also passed that question on the legal counsel. They haven't gotten a response yet. So what I just shared was my read of it, but I will definitely share with you what legal counsel shares with us when I get a response to that.
Great, thank you. And I also just want to say, as I'm a nerd who came here with all these questions, that I'm super grateful to the work you've done here, because there were some very kind of panicked fellow Oakland County School Board members in the meeting last week that Jonathan and I were at, because I didn't get the sense their district was out ahead of this, like you were trying to get us. So
Well, I'd love to take all the credit, but Ms. Wright was actually, she took some of the initial steps, and I just kind of took over at some point in the process. So both of us.
Thank you. Credit and deserved. Thank you so much.
Tom, all right.
It's a lot.
Yeah, it
It's
is.
really a lot, and I'm not sure the districts were given the time they needed to do it
Correct.
correctly.
Absolutely. Anything else?
As Tom mentioned, this is our first read, and, we have our 2 reads, so we'll do the second read of the policies, on the 5th, and then, vote one after,
At the regular meeting? Or at the
special
special meetings?
meetings.
Okay.
So that's 5:45, second reading, you can approve it the second.
Okay.
So, just make, review the
Sounds good. Sounds good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That brings us to item 7.2, budget actual report.
Hello, this is the budget to actual report for December. And it's roughly the same as last year, so we're on track. Just if you go up a little bit, the very first column still says original budget. So next month, that will say first amended budget. But do you have any questions? Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Item 8, consideration of full consent agenda items and action. Item 9, our next special board meeting will be this Thursday, 6 o'clock. It's superintendent search update. That's Thursday, January 25th, in this room, 6 o'clock. Then item 10, the following special board meeting, Monday, February 5th, 2024 at 5:45, that's the second reading of this policy. Item 11, next committee of the whole meeting is following that, Monday, February 5th at 6 o'clock. And next regular board meeting is Monday, February 26th at 7 p.m. Which brings us to item 13, Eagles, points of pride / finance.
I will go first. I have 2 today. The first one was I wanted to shout out that pinning ceremony earlier today. I got to step in for like 15 to 30 minutes in there and watch the ceremony. It was really nice. Like the turnout in there was just amazing. It was amazing to see how many students that we have just excelling and on track to graduating and making us proud. And then to the second one, is for board appreciation. I just want to say, like, I'm really thankful for working with you guys. I remember when I first joined, I actually almost joined because I was going to not do this. I wasn't going to run initially for the board. At the very last minute, I decided to again. But I was very afraid. I will be honest, I was afraid to be on the board, to be with Sandra on the board, and to work with such wise and educated members. I felt like I wasn't ready or could give the same that I guess you guys could give. But from doing this work and like being with you guys, I really appreciate it. I really appreciate the person that I've become with working with you guys and the things that I have learned from you and what we have to learn going forward. So I just want to say thank you, and I appreciate all of you just as much as everyone in that video appreciates you. I got popcorn.
So, starting my 9th year on the board, and as I was watching the littles and then this video, sometimes after being on the board for so long, you forget why you're here, especially now that my kids have graduated. And it's so refreshing and nice to see the littles during the building presentations, because it takes me back to when my kids were that little and just thinking about the growth and the maturity that they went through in the time that they were here. And it just amazes me when I look back at, like, wow, they were that little. And I'm just really proud that we have a district that is so supportive of our students and our community and the partnerships of the businesses. And it just really warms my heart when Board Appreciation Month comes, because it's a great time to reflect as a board member and to be refreshed again for the new year. So thank you for all you do.
I have some shout outs here. The Winter Guard season kicked off in Novi on Saturday evening. We have 2 teams this year. The program has like doubled, and it's amazing. It's amazing to watch young people create beautiful art together. Really quite something. The week before that, we had 5 high school students participate in District 4 Honors Band in Clarkston on a very cold and interesting winter night. There were 3 guest conductors, Oakland, Eastern, and maybe Michigan State. Anyway, they were blown away. They were blown away by the kids, by how prepared they came to this rehearsal, and in 6 hours they put together an amazing performance. This is my monthly now shout out to the bus drivers and transportation crew for getting our kids safely to and from during this crazy winter weather. Really amazed by that group. I heard some of the bus drivers were starting the buses on the freezing cold days. And shout out to all the teachers at the secondary level who managed finals with snow days and anxious students and anxious parents, and a schedule that wasn't ideal. I'm sure it was exhausting for them, and just super, super grateful for the commitment of the folks who are in the classroom with our teachers, in the classroom with our students day after day.
I would like to give my point of pride to Lower, Mrs. Keefe. Being a parent there of a kindergartner in the building I went to kindergarten to, seeing how much the culture and the intentionality behind the social emotional learning that goes on there has grown over the years. Seen it in my kid, what they bring home and their friends, you focus a lot on whole child, but also I see a lot of whole community, the peace walk, how special that was for the kids, and it was hard for a lot of parents to attend this year, in particular with the weather that day. And our kindness spirit week this week, and things like that always happening that integrate what's happening in the classroom throughout the whole building, and that joy you see from the kids there today. I see that whenever I'm in there volunteering and when my kids are home. So shout out to Ms. Keefe, all our Lower teachers for building that culture, and all the support staff there and the parents who volunteer. Thank you.
Mary always seems to steal what I was going to say. No, you're good. You're good. I just wanted the same thing. Shout out. Last week was a very unconventional week between days planned off, snow days, and that. Want to shout out to our families who obviously had to make some accommodations for that, but also to all of our secondary school staff, with it being the midterms, and all the students who adjusted to that, to make sure that everything stayed on course for them. Like Mary said, not easy to adjust. I'm sure the kids enjoyed the extra time, but for the staff readjusting to when they were going to have all of them. So thank you for all of that.
I would like to, I had a chance to attend a number of athletic events. I was at the wrestling tournament on Saturday, and let me just say it was my first one. And once I got done clutching my pearls the majority of the time with seeing our babies. I don't care how old they're still our babies. Being slammed to the mat. Once I got past that, it was very enjoyable to watch because they got right back up. And yeah, I learned a lot about wrestling. But it was just very cool to meet lots of the coaching staff and to learn that it was like a legacy coaching staff, right? So there's a coach that coached Chief Collins, and Chief Collins' son is a coach too. So just like the level of investment, like all those years since they were in youth, with Ferndale with Ferndale Parks and Rec, it was just very inspiring, I'll be honest with you, to see that level of dedication from the coaching staff and such passionate students. Because it was a long tournament, but it was very enjoyable. Also swim, shout out to the swim team. Had a great time at the swim meet, met a number of swim parents. Just personally, I have 2 swimmers at home, so it was great that they were able to see what they call the big kids swim, and that was very enjoyable that they were able to be there with me. Also, girls basketball, my goodness, it was very difficult for me because it was FHS versus UHS, so I was there, but I was very nervous to cheer. I was very nervous, but I was there, definitely there, cheering for both sides, so that was a lot of fun. As mentioned, finals, I know that was a very, very difficult, so thank you to the families, thank you to the students and staff. To have a weather call or snow day during finals is extremely difficult. Just the flexibility, I'm just very appreciative of being able to, get right back into it, adjust. I know it wasn't easy, and I'm appreciative. And then just finally, again, board appreciation. I meant it when I said I don't have the full words to express a personal appreciation for how supportive this board has been to Felicia and I, to our cabinet, and I'm just very grateful to be a part of this team. I consider myself very, I would say, very mission-driven, and it's very difficult for me to work under individuals who I am not aligned with, and I just feel inspired when I'm with you all. I respect you deeply, every one of you individually, and I'm just grateful to be serving alongside of you. So thank you, and happy board appreciation. That's it.
Okay.
I'm not gonna cry.
I'm a crier.
Because I saw where it was headed.
Yeah, I watched the video and I was like, oh,
I was very, cry was in my throat.
So my points of pride, I'd have to shout out the operations team. Last week into this week has just been brutal, and only having 2 maintenance personnel for the majority of the time down to up to 3, salting, pushing snow, trying to keep up, temper tantrums. At some point somebody's going to walk off like, this is too much, and then we come back and we do it all over again. And I also want to shout out the bus drivers. They've just been fantastic. For those of you that don't know, my office is actually in the student transportation terminal, so I get to work with those characters every day, and they are just fantastic people. They're just really a family, and they do whatever is needed to make sure the children get safely wherever they need to go, and that's exactly what you hear in the halls. We'll do whatever we need to do to get them there. So I certainly appreciate that teamwork, that sense of family that obviously is Ferndale, and also shout out to the board. I'd have to echo what Ms. Hibbler said, in that you don't find this everywhere. You certainly don't find it on the basis that we're serving. It can be contentious, and it hasn't been that. If anything, it's been very supportive, almost to like you just like wake up. This is not reality, but it is, and it feels good. And I appreciate just the partnership and the leadership from all of you. Thank you.
So I'm last. So mine is also board appreciation, because I also work in education. And I've said this a few times. It is really great to do this job, that's the best paying job on the planet right now. For the salary that we get with you all, because I can't tell you of any other position that I volunteered at that was like, let me go in here and do this one more time with the things that we get. I mean, especially the things that we've been battling. That's what it feels like recently. I don't, any other volunteer job is like, yeah, I'm not going back.
But with this group, it, as rough as it seems sometimes in the moment, it's not. It's not as bad as it looks, right? So, I 100% appreciate all of you in doing this work. And no, you're not gonna wake up and we're gonna be crazy. I'll let you know before that happens. I'm pretty good on like spot so yes, so yeah, that video, I'm thinking there was one more. I might try.
Yeah.
One more on its advantage. So with that, we are adjourned.